All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in and really excited to have you at the upcoming Accelerator Conference. Patrick, we're joined today by Travis Steffen, who I got to tell you, his pedigree is incredible. So let's start by having you introduce yourself, Travis, because you have done so much and you're going to bring so much value to this event.
Sure. Yeah. Hey, everyone. My name is Travis Steffen. I'm a serial founder. Just had my 8th exit as a founder last year in February. I'm also a doctoral candidate in marketing and artificial intelligence, published author, Inc. 500 CEO. I'm a mentor for all of the big accelerator programs in Silicon Valley. We talk about growth and how to exit companies properly. I'm also a real estate investor, probably a little bit more small time than these guys, but I've got about 15 doors and trying to continue to grow that over the course of time. I'm sure I'm forgetting things, but I'm pretty jazzed to have a conversation with you all about all the ways that you can succeed faster utilizing some more modern technology.
I got to know Travis on the Everyday Millionaire podcast. And after getting off the call, I went, holy cow, I got to keep his name in mind. And then, of course, for the Real Estate Summit that we're hosting, he's going to be our keynote. But we're really stepping into understanding what the future holds when it comes to artificial intelligence. And that's really the focus of Travis in this particular conversation, although he's very business savvy. Where can we use AI? What is it all about? Where does it apply to us in terms of real estate investing? And that's one of the things I'm really excited about all of this. And he used the word accelerate and accelerator. And really, that's what AI is going to do. It's going to accelerate a lot of things, grow our portfolios profitably the right way using some technology that, Travis is going to speak to.
What's fascinating about this conversation and on the pre-show here, we talked about AI being both fascinating and frightening all at the same time. And I think, Travis, one of the reasons I'm so excited to have you on stage and to share the stage with you is to be able to debunk some of this frightening stuff and to be able to explain some of this fascinating stuff. Because I think there's a lot of myths and mistakes about AI. And I think there's a lot of potential here, but there's a ton of headlines around it. And as part of the Real Estate Investment Network community, we talk about going behind the headlines, and we're bringing in the expert, one of the experts on this to talk about it. So tell us a little bit about kind of some bigger broad strokes of the buckets you're going to talk about at this event about AI.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the crux of it will be talking about just AI in general, quick little primer for folks who aren't incredibly familiar with it, for folks who are only familiar with some of the more recent commercial applications of large language models and conversational or generative AI. You've likely all been using AI for a number of years, both in and outside of real estate, if you're using any more modern tools and so forth over the last 10 years. So being able to dive into where it already has existed in a pre-OpenAI ChatGPT world before the whole world was lit on fire with this sort of thing. And then also other ways that you can start to customize your approach by utilizing AI behind the scenes to just make better decisions, increase your output, or get a whole bunch of time back in your day if you're already satisfied with the output you have.
Now, it's interesting about all of this is, you shared with us a little bit, you've been speaking to universities and you're talking to business owners and all of the rest. And so if you're really engaged in it, it's kind of cool. But have you come across the comment, I'm too old for this? Like, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm too old. But interesting point that you made earlier on is that we're probably using AI. Many have been using AI, all of us, for years, and we weren't even really aware of it. We'll touch base and we'll talk about that. But how do you respond to somebody who says, I'm too old for this, I'm not interested? Can you kind of say, don't do that?
I have empathy for the response because there are a lot of tools that it's born from where there's a substantive user training cost, so to speak, from a product development sense of the word, where you have to innately understand how to navigate certain applications and accomplish certain things. So there are a lot of people who might think that. When I've gotten that question on stage before, when talking to various university programs, whether it's here in the States or abroad, I oftentimes will actually pull out an LLM out of my pocket and allow that person to ask it, how can I best utilize you? This is my role. What can I, and effectively get them using it in that moment and just be surprised if they can send a text message. They can utilize generative AI in a lot of ways. Now, you can also use generative AI to teach you better uses of generative AI. It's designed to think in ways that we cannot. It's designed to enhance and, in some cases, completely replace and augment the job of the human mind. So acknowledging where your limitations of your own mind are important. And that's why you should be using AI.
Interesting that you just said those words right there, Travis. I think every single one of us watching this video has at one time or another said to themselves, if I could just duplicate myself, I know I can achieve this much more. I know I can do this. I know I can, so on and so forth. Everyone has said that. If I could just duplicate myself. Well, the answer is now you can. And that's why it's so important to be at the forefront of this. And the other thing that we're going to be doing about this particular talk at the Accelerator Conference, which is super cool, is it's going to be a community generated talk, which means people are going to be able to ask questions ahead of time. And Travis, we're going to feed you those questions, and then you're going to come with answers to the audience's questions, research prepared ahead of time. And who knows, we may even use a little AI during the talk. Who knows?
Love that.
You said something that reminded me of one of those entrepreneur trick questions. You're being coached, and somebody at the front of the room says, okay, how many of you right now would like to earn twice as much money? And of course the whole room puts up their hand, and then the follow-up question is, how many of you can work twice as hard? And everybody, of course, goes, da. Of course we can't, right? But here's the answer to that question right now is we don't have to work twice as hard. We can get 10x out of the same amount of work, and that's pretty powerful too. And that's really, when you think about AI and the possibilities and the fact that it can actually guide you into how to do that, you don't even have to, I won't go down that rabbit hole. But anyways, that's pretty exciting when you look at the possibilities of AI as a real estate investor, because we're all, probably one of the number one excuses, JG, you and I hear it all the time. I don't have the time. I don't have the time. I don't have the time.
Travis, I can feel myself, Patrick. I can feel myself wanting to go deeper in this conversation, but we're going to have to hold it back. We're going to have to hold it back for the Accelerator event. The conference is going to be incredible, folks. Get signed up, get registered. You want to be there. And Travis, I'm going to give you the final word. It's in line a little bit with what Patrick asked, but if someone's sitting there on the sideline thinking, should I attend? I'm not so sure. I don't need to. Do I have the time? Should I spend a day and a half at this conference? What do you say to someone, knowing what you know about AI and knowing about, what you bring to the table? Why should someone attend this event?
If this isn't an area that's already gotten a substantive amount of your attention and you don't use this for a good chunk of your day right now, I would say it will likely be one of the more impactful topics that you've been able to uncover, learn about, dissect, dive deeply into in your career. And that's no exaggeration. There's a reason why the federal government is racing to regulate this sector, just because of how powerful the technology is. I'll spare some of the nitty-gritty details of that until the actual talk itself. But there's a reason why it's become a priority of global leaders across the board, and why that's happened faster than it's ever happened with any other piece of technology. It's no exaggeration. And when you use it and you use it in the correct ways, you're going to see why.
Travis, we look forward to sharing the stage with you. Thank you so much for being so generous with your time. We look forward to having you at the Accelerator Conference.
Looking forward to it.
Thanks, Travis.